What's up, YouTube? Back here working on the Escalade again. Working on my stereo a little bit more in depth now. Got her half tore apart. Fixing this poor professional. Was done at a shop, done at a stereo shop install. And wires just hanging around, cutting, digging into stuff. Just was not liking the install. So got her full pull pretty much. I'm going to leave the speaker wires because they seem to be ran pretty good. This one just pulled up a bit. I'm going to tape it down. But I want to show you, this had 0 gauge, power acoustic 0 gauge, ran to it. I already pulled the Rockford. It had these RCAs, it had mixed matched RCAs, and I hate that. I got a set of Rockfords, so I'm going to make them all match. I like matching stuff, it's better in my opinion. But yeah, I'm pulling out the JL audio, replacing it with my 400 Rockford for right now. Just going to pull that all out. Got to mark all my speakers before I do that. But it's had this power acoustic 0 gauge in there. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little demonstration on wiring tonight. I am a big Sky High car audio. This stuff I know I've scraped the copper coating off of it, and it is aluminum. But that is sad. That's supposed to be 0 gauge, which is a little bit smaller than 1/0. That is 4 gauge, which is bigger than the 1/0 quoted cable. And the weight comparison, this piece here almost weighs as much as this whole chunk. It's ridiculous. This Rockford Fosgate 4 gauge is a little bit thinner and smaller than Sky High, but it's still bigger than the power acoustics. The power wire going from the distribution block, which was actually a capacitor, I had a cap, a T-spec cap up there, was actually, the wire going from the cap to the amplifiers was better than the wire going from the battery to the amplifiers. This stuff was garbage. I had to get the stuff out. It was ran at the battery. I've got a pieces 1/0 gonna run from the battery to the amplifier, and I can tell that stuff's got hot, and that stuff's just junk. I mean, I'm gonna keep it around just for some other chunks. Maybe make a battery cable on a 4-wheeler, because that's about the only thing that's good for it. That's going in to replace. That's been used once. It's out of my Trailblazer, but it should be good wire. which is fine. I got the RTV silicone off there. I got to reseal it in here anyways. But that's just to give you a comparison. Here's once again. All right, that's a 0 gauge, or not 0 gauge. That's 1/0 Sky High, and that's 0 gauge Power Acoustics. Look at all the insulation, guys. That's just, yeah, good wire. When you pay for good wire, you get good wire. When you pay for a good product, you get good product. If you pay for a poor quality product, you get Power Acoustic stuff. Not dogging Power Acoustics. I used to rock some of their stuff back in the day. It is cheap. It works. Gets the job done. It did. Actually sounded pretty good in the old Escalade, but this should help a lot. Now this, with me, I'm not real sure what I'm going with in this. I'd like to go more than 212s, but I'm kind of growing out of my bass stage. It's sad to say, but I don't bump as much as I used to. I tend to bump in SUVs a little more than I do in my Cobalt, just because there's, I don't know, it sounds better in SUV in my opinion. But yeah, I want to go with a MechMan alternator, because me and MechMan, you know, like this. But I like my MechMan I had in my Trailblazer, and the one I had a long time ago. But I'm going to go ahead and swap the battery out for my XS. My XS power battery. Yeah, it's a D3400. Should fit and drop right in there. There's nothing wrong with this battery, so I'm definitely going to keep it. I'm going to go ahead and pull this fuse block off. Nice fuse block, really. I don't know what amp fuse is in there, but I'll take a peek in a minute. But yeah, not even a good crimp job. I do like the split loom they put on there. That looks nice. I'll probably add that again because it just looks a little more factory. But yeah, they went through the top of that. That's not a bad spot to go, but it had no sealant, so I'm going to go ahead and seal it. Yeah, go ahead and run it in. Tuck it good. All the RCAs. I will admit, the power wire was ran, which they cut a hole in my carpet and destroyed this carpet. But this carpet's going to destroy it anyways. So, yeah, that door latch is broken. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move my distribution blocks down a little bit so I can use my Sky High car audio ground and just ground there. That's a good ground. I'm going to go ahead and vacuum that crap out of there, because you really can't tell, but there's a lot of crap in there. I'm going to clean this all up, vacuum everything up. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give me a piece and slide it in underneath this big fucked up carpet mess that's going on here. And put a piece of plastic and drill down through and hold my 2 distribution blocks down. And just run from 1/0 to 1/0 to theirs. Run 1/0 to the distribution blocks. Then run 4 gauge to my Rockford amps, both Rockford. I'm using Sky High car audio. 4 gauge running to my Punch 1000, which then might go over and go to my 400, and then I'll try to get, I think I got some Sky High car audio. I think I got some more 4 gauge down there. I think, actually, ooh, I may not. This might be what I have left, 4 gauge. I'll have to do some peeking, but the shop is a mess right now. I have it all. I gotta go through and clean everything because that looks disgusting. And yeah, this was a kind of a poorly treated machine, but we'll get it back to right, at least somewhat right, hopefully. I'm gonna run all my RCAs down the center. Remote will probably run down here with the power wire, but I got an Access, which is a Metra adapter, which is, I'm not a big fan of Metra stuff. I love the dash kits. Dash kits are great, but I'm not a big fan of their interface modules, which I'm getting rid of OnStar, the amplifier. So I really don't need this. I don't really care about retaining chime support. I think this is the chime module. I'm not real sure, but I'll have to look it up and see. But I'm not really interested in keeping none of this stuff. I mean, I don't give a crap if the doors ding or not. But yeah, I gotta cut the all this stuff off and get me a nice clean slate. I love these T-taps. Oh god, I love T-taps. I gotta cut all that stuff off and get me down to a good base to use on my Nexus. I just want to get this decent. I want to be able to get this tuned. I want to be able to set my gains properly, because these have the punch EQ, even though they have an SMD tuner down my electrical drawer there for setting gains. But the punch EQ's built in. It's pretty nice, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it. My amp's dirty, hella dirty. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount that, get that out of there, label all those, mount that, and try to get this all put back together in somewhat timely fashion, because I really don't want to be doing this all evening. But, you know, it'll probably be 1, 2 in the morning before I get home, so, you know, one of them days. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys later. And, yeah, if I remember, I'll click the camera back on. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and probably find a way to get this all the way out. It's been a long time since I pulled out a trim piece in a Chevrolet, not a Chevrolet, but a GM product of this, the GM T800 series, I believe is what this is. So yeah, I gotta pull that out, unplug the tweeter. I want to pull down that, I did open the sunroof, let more light in. That was nice, it did work, helped a lot actually. And I want to pull that down, and I want to utilize the stock microphone mounting spot for my aftermarket radio. And I got to get my mirror out of my 03 parts truck cab. It's got the compass and the temperature in the passenger airbag, but it does not have OnStar. So, being I have the module unplugged, and we'll probably remove the OnStar module out of the whole truck. If you're wondering where the factory amplifier is, it's down there, which will probably get removed as well. And I believe this has a woofer in the front of that console, which I will remove as well. And I know it has one back there, but I don't know if the Tahoes, Escalades, Denali's and stuff had it up there. I don't know if they had the 2 subwoofers in the front dash. If anybody can tell me what the hell this is, this little hole and hooks, it looks like a microphone, but I'm not real sure what it is. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some Googling on that. If I'm not needed, I'll just remove it. But so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything removed for right now and get stuff kind of starting to go back in a lot better order, hopefully. So we will catch you in the ending of this video. So hopefully I'll have it somewhat put back together, or I'll click back on if I find something extremely funny. I just thought I'd show you that power wire comparison. Like I said, this stuff, you might as well just, because that stuff's trash, you know. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff kind of figured out how I want to mount it. Get this fished in there, run along the side, get it to my distribution block. Go ahead and get the JL out. If you're in the southwestern Iowa parts and you want a cheap JL audio, I'll let that go. It's a 700 5-channel, I believe. Nice amplifier. Just nothing I'll use. I may use it in the Trans Am, I don't know. Depends. Well, I'm a Rockford fan, so I'll probably keep Rockford in the Trans Am. I know, yeah, I know, they're not Power Series, but Punch is some good stuff, so they got pretty quality stuff, Rockford does. I mean, you don't have to go totally crazy. I'd like to go crazy with this, but we'll get to that later on. Right now, I just want something that sounds good. I'd like to swap out my door speakers to some either Punch or Power Series components. I'd like to put the woofer down here and the tweeter up in here. I'm not a big fan of having the tweeters down there. So I do like it at the window. It sounds better. It sounds a little more crisp. I like the sound dead in the floors, the doors, everything. I'd like to do that in this too. Some hopefully Amplifier Pro. I'd like to use some of that, some second skin stuff. That's some quality stuff. I'm using that cheap Amazon stuff and the Cobalt and all that stuff. It's good stuff for on the budget build, but I want a really quiet Escalade and sound really good when I'm bumping. So that's what I'm doing. I need to take my panel off here because it's working on falling off anyways. Back here, as you can see, need to go ahead and retape that. Maybe pop my bumper off, put a screw in it. I don't know. But yeah. So I'm gonna quit yakking, and I'll get back to you when I get this a little more progress.